Neil Armstrong was born on August 5, 1930 in Wapakoneta, Ohio. His love of flying began early. He took his first airplane ride at age 6 and was so captivated that he began taking flying lessons at 14, earning his student pilot's license before he could even drive a car. He built model airplanes and read countless aviation magazines. Dreaming of the skies, Armstrong studied aeronautical engineering at Purdue University on a U.S. Navy scholarship. His education was interrupted when he was called to serve in the Korean War as a naval aviator. He flew 78 combat missions from the aircraft carrier USS Essex, experiencing harrowing moments, including ejecting from a damaged aircraft. After the war, he returned to Purdue and completed his degree in 1955. Armstrong became a civilian test pilot at the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, NACA, which later became NASA. He flew over 200 different types of aircraft, including experimental rocket planes. He piloted the X-15 rocket plane to the edge of space, reaching speeds over 4,000 miles per hour and altitudes of 200,000 feet. His reputation as a calm, analytical, and exceptionally skilled pilot grew during these years. In 1962, Armstrong was selected for NASA's second astronaut group. He was one of the few civilian pilots chosen, standing alongside military test pilots. His engineering background and cool demeanor under pressure made him an ideal candidate for the space program. Armstrong's first space mission was as commander of Gemini 8 in March 1966 with David Scott as his crewmate. The mission achieved the first successful docking of two spacecraft in orbit, a critical milestone for the Apollo program. However, shortly after docking a thruster, malfunction caused the spacecraft to spin violently, reaching 1 revolution per second. Armstrong remained calm under extreme conditions, successfully regaining control and making an emergency landing in the Pacific Ocean. His quick thinking and composure saved the mission and possibly their lives. Armstrong was selected to command Apollo 11, with Buzz Aldrin as lunar module pilot and Michael Collins as command module pilot. The mission's goal was audacious: land humans on the moon and return them safely to Earth, fulfilling President Kennedy's 1961 challenge to the nation. Launch day, July 16, 1969. At 9:32 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Apollo 11 lifted off from Kennedy Space Center atop a massive Saturn V rocket. Nearly 1 million people gathered to watch, and millions more watched on television worldwide. The three astronauts felt the powerful acceleration as they left Earth's atmosphere translunar journey. For 3 days, the spacecraft traveled the 240,000 miles to the moon. The crew conducted systems checks, made course corrections, and prepared for the historic landing. Armstrong remained focused and methodical, reviewing procedures and contingency plans. Descent to the surface. As Eagle began its descent, Armstrong took manual control when he saw the intended landing site was covered with boulders and crater debris. With fuel running critically low, less than 30 seconds remaining, he calmly piloted the lunar module to a safer spot in the Sea of Tranquility. Mission Control held its breath as Armstrong's voice reported, "The Eagle has landed one small step at 10:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on July 20th, 1969. Armstrong descended the ladder of the lunar module. As he stepped onto the lunar surface, he spoke the words that would echo through history. "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." He later said he had intended to say a man, but the A was lost in transmission. Moonwalk activities. Armstrong and Aldrin spent about 2.5 hours on the lunar surface. They collected 47.5 pounds of lunar rocks and soil samples, planted the American flag, set up scientific experiments including a seismometer and laser reflector, took photographs and filmed their activities, spoke with President Richard Nixon via radio telephone. Armstrong described the lunar surface as having a stark beauty, all its own, comparing it to the high desert of the United States return to Earth. July 21st to 24th, 1969. After 21.5 hours on the moon, Armstrong and Aldrin lifted off in Eagle's ascent stage, successfully rendezvousing with Collins in Columbia. They jettisoned the lunar module and began their return journey. On July 24th, they splashed down in the Pacific Ocean and were recovered by the USS Hornet. They spent time in quarantine to ensure they hadn't brought back any lunar pathogens. None were found. Armstrong's journey from a small-town Ohio boy to the first human to walk on another celestial body represents the pinnacle of human exploration and achievement. His calm professionalism, engineering brilliance, and humble character made him not just a hero of space exploration, but a model of grace under pressure. The footprints he left on the moon remain there today, preserved in the airless environment, a permanent testament to humanity's spirit of exploration and one of the greatest adventures in human history.